What is skincare and why is there such a hype around it on social media?
Everybody wants to look well, everybody wants to look attractive.
What role does sunscreen play in our skincare routines, and how do you select the right SPF for your skin type?
We have a huge problem with young women, teenagers, young men. They're all on Temu, they're all on TikTok. They're picking up a wide range of different products. We have children buying retinol, hyaluronic acid serum. That is completely inappropriate. And also, they come in with bags with 9 to 12 products. Not only would that take up far too much time, but it can't be good for your skin.
Natural products are always safer.
No, in countries like India and Africa, that can be extremely dangerous.
So today we're going to talk all things skincare, and I'm joined by our resident skincare expert, Dr. Naomi Mackle. We're going to run through some questions. Hi, Dr. Naomi Mackle. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Good. I suppose to open the podcast, the first question has to be, what is skincare and why is there such a hype around it on social media?
So skincare describes a routine that people use with active skin ingredients to make their skin look healthier and better and younger. There's such a hype on social media because everybody's on the train giving different types of advice. But the basics is everybody wants to look well, everybody wants to look attractive, nobody wants problem skin. I think we're all the same in that respect.
And skincare essentially is the answer to giving us that lovely, flawless, clean skin look that we like. And I suppose, what is the importance of having a daily skincare routine?
So a proper daily skincare routine can prevent a lot of problems like acne vulgaris, redness, hyperpigmentation. And it's also very important early on to protect your skin with a sunscreen, because if you use a daily sunscreen, you prevent aging, you prevent redness, you prevent skin cancer. So a skincare routine is actually very important.
Okay. And for somebody who doesn't have any major skin concerns or just looking to maintain a youthful complexion, what are the basics you would recommend for people to kind of start out with?
So it depends on the age and what you're trying to prevent. So, for example, if somebody in their late 20s comes in for a skincare routine, I would always recommend a daily SPF 30 plus sunscreen, a vitamin C serum as an antioxidant, and a retinol at night to increase the cell turnover. And that will keep the skin very young and healthy. But if a teenager comes in with oily, acne-prone skin, I recommend something completely different. It will be a skincare routine to control the oil, to control blemishes, maybe to peel the skin with oil-free moisturizers. If somebody comes in with hyperpigmentation, it's a different skincare routine again.
And when somebody is looking to start a skincare routine for just say acne skin or anti-aging skin, how does their skin type affect what products they could choose? So if they're sensitive, if they're dry, if they're oily, does it make a difference what products they use based on their skin type?
Yeah, absolutely. So for very oily skin, you need to be looking at salicylic acid foaming cleansers, glycolic mandelic acid peels. For people with rosacea, redness, or very sensitive skin, they need to be using vitamin C serums. They need to be using intensive moisturizers, sunscreens, anti-inflammatories. For people with pigmentation, they must use a sunscreen that also blocks the visible light. They need to be using glycolic products to remove the pigment. So there's a huge range of active ingredients that people need to use depending on the skin concern.
And the skin type. And let's take it back to cleansers. So step one of the skincare routine. What ingredients should each skin type look for? I.e. oily, dry, sensitive, anti-aging. What are the best ingredients to look for in each cleanser for your skin type?
So we use chemical exfoliants. So something like salicylic acid will be used for oily skin. Glycolic acid is very good for hyperpigmentation or mild nuisance acne. Mandelic acid is very gentle cleanser, very good for skin of colour. very good for young children with very sensitive skin. And then the extremely sensitive skin, something like a polyhydroxy acid cleanser, is very mild, but will still gently exfoliate your skin.
Okay, very interesting. And a product that has really stood the test of time is the moisturizer. I know serums and different ingredients have come in through the years, but moisturizers have been there since this very start of skincare, and they've remained there till this day. Why is it so important to use a moisturizer? And is there different moisturizers, again, depending on your skin type?
So you need to moisturize the skin. So we basically have oil-free moisturizers for the oily or acne-prone patients. And then for patients with very dry or red skin, we do richer moisturizers with anti-inflammatories, which might help the redness. But it doesn't always need to say moisturizer on the bottle. Sometimes, if they've acne or pigmentation, we might use a combination cream with niacinamide and zinc in it. But we might tell people just to use that with sunscreen. So they're still moisturizing their skin, but it's not called a moisturizer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I getcha. And sunscreen, again, is something that I suppose years ago would have been our holiday go-to, but in this days skincare routines, it's as important as a cleanser in some people's mind. And what role does sunscreen play in our skincare routines, and how do you select the right SPF for your skin type?
Yeah, the sunscreen is really important to protect the skin, but just to understand what a sunscreen is. So a sunscreen will block UVB and UVA. UVB is sun. So in countries like Ireland and the UK, we don't get a lot of sun, but the UVA is extremely damaging, and the UVA gets in the window of the car, the window of the office. So to use a sunscreen daily to prevent this is very important. The basics are, if you've oily skin, you want to be going for oil-free or mineral sunscreens. If you've older skin, you're much more prone to skin cancer and aging. So you would probably go for a combination sunscreen, which is a combination physical and mineral. The difference is a physical sunscreen sits on top of the skin and reflects the UV rays. A chemical sunscreen forms a chemical reaction inside the cells. So a combination sunscreen from a skin cancer or anti-aging point of view is a much superior sunscreen. But also they look better. If you've older skin and wrinkles and you use a physical only sunscreen, it sits on top of your skin and makes you look like a crocodile. It almost enhances the wrinkles. So you do have to be careful what you use.
Okay, and another big thing I think is exfoliation and exfoliating, and you see a lot of people online using scrubs and different acids and whatnot, and it's nearly recommended that everyone exfoliates their skin. But how often should somebody exfoliate their skin?
So again, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So you would have physical exfoliants like a scrub that you buy over the counter, and that's made up of sugar or nut scrub, and you can use that. But if you want proper skincare, you need to be using chemical exfoliants. So if somebody has very oily skin or are acne prone, they need to be using a salicylic acid foam cleanser or glycolic acid foam cleanser twice daily. And maybe also a chemical peel, which is also a home peel. It would be an exfoliant at night, and that might be every day. And then you replace the moisture with a moisturizer. But if you just have pigmentation, dry skin, a bit of wrinkling, using a home peel maybe once a week, followed by something like a retinol, is brilliant for addressing pigmentation and brightening up the skin, but probably not every day.
Every day could be too much. And I suppose there is a big, you probably see it in your clinic most days where people are coming in with lots of different skincare products. Like how do you know if the skincare you're buying isn't working for you?
Well, if your skin is dry, if it's irritated, if you're getting acne, if your redness is out of control, what you're using isn't working. We have a huge problem with young women, teenagers, young men. They're all on Temu, they're all on TikTok. They're picking up a wide range of different products. We have children buying retinol, hyaluronic acid serum. That is completely inappropriate. And also, they come in with bags with 9 to 12 products. not only would that take up far too much time, but it can't be good for your skin. So I think if you're struggling, it might be time to see the doctor or the skin specialist and just go through exactly what they're using with somebody who understands. So they have a good look at your skin. They'll be able to see what type of skin you actually have, and then they should be able to recommend what products will actually work to address whatever skin concern you have.
Yeah, I think because it's a minefield out there when it comes to brands and products and types of products and different active ingredients. But no, I think that was all very helpful, Dr. Naomi, so thank you very much. We're just going to bust a few skincare myths here with you right now. So these are some kind of stuff we've seen online about different skincare myths. Just to ask you as an expert, in your opinion, are they correct or are they just all a fad? So firstly, does drinking water alone keep your skin hydrated?
No. You need an external form of moisturizer, but also you must remember to always keep the skin barrier in mind. So you must restore the skin barrier if you're using a chemical exfoliant, because if the skin barrier isn't functioning properly, the water will evaporate and your skin will be very dry and dehydrated, and water isn't going to fix that.
Okay, very interesting. Can homemade or DIY skincare compare to the products you buy from a clinic?
I know they can't. You have to be careful with products. You also have to be very careful with kind of good products versus not so good products. I see a lot of people coming in with bags of different skincare, and the product that's written on the bottle should work, but there's something wrong with the pH of the product or the delivery of the ingredients into the skin because the product isn't working.
So it's not doing exactly what it says on the tin, essentially.
No, and also if you have, obviously we live in a very multicultural society, and we have patients coming over from Africa, India, China. They're buying products in a market that they perceive as natural or safe. And some of these products contain super potent products or hydroquinone, which can be extremely dangerous, especially for skin of colour. So you do need to be careful what you're buying.
God, yeah, very interesting. Is it true that we don't need to wear a sunscreen when we're inside or on a cloudy day?
On a cloudy day, no. If you can see, you probably need a sunscreen, because remember, UVA means you can see, and that can get in the window of the office, the window of the car, the window of the train. If you genuinely live indoors, there's no windows in your house, and you sit inside all day in a locked room, you probably don't need a sunscreen. But that's not the case with most people. The real advice with skincare, I think you should wear a sunscreen every day on exposed areas. So what I mean by that is face, neck, back of the hands. In the balding man, he needs a hat or he needs a spray for his scalp, his ears. But really, if the UV index is over 3, and in the UK and Ireland, the UV index is nearly always over 3 between the months of March and September. So you definitely at that time of the year should wear a sunscreen every day. Okay,
very interesting. This is something that definitely when I was growing up wasn't recommended to do, but does oily or acne-prone skin, do they need to use a moisturizer?
Absolutely. Because remember, if you come into me with oily skin, I'm going to be putting you on products that control the oil. But if you strip the skin, you must put back the moisture with an oil-free moisturizer. Because if you don't, you damage the skin barrier so it doesn't function properly. But also the skin will overproduce oil to compensate, and that will make your problem worse.
Okay, and I think another side effect that comes with having oily acne-prone skin is the kind of large visible pores that I know people hate. Can you shrink your pores, or is that just a myth?
You can shrink your pores, but I don't think you can get rid of open pores permanently. Open pores are genetic, but also if you've oily skin, the oil comes out through the pores, so they'll be enlarged. If you get older, the collagen and elastin is starting to disintegrate, so your skin will lose its elasticity, so your pores look open. You can do treatments like isotretinoin and roaccutane, which are excellent for reducing the size of pores, but you can't get rid of them. Resurfacing treatments like CO2 laser, medical microneedling, secret radiofrequency, chemical peels, these are all designed to improve skin quality, reduce the size of pores, and they really work. But skin care and skin maintenance is an ongoing thing.
Okay. When it comes to sunscreens and the SPF, does a higher SPF give us better protection?
Not necessarily. Sunscreens can be very misleading. So what you're looking is for a broad spectrum sunscreen. And if you're skin cancer or you're older or you're outdoors a lot, if you're a gardener, a horse rider, a sailor, you need to be using the best quality you can. And the best quality sunscreens, you are looking really for the SPF 50, a combination physical and chemical sunscreen. We see a lot of patients come in with an SPF 100, but usually that's a physical only. So you're losing half the block because you don't have a chemical sunscreen in it. So it can't be compared to a combination SPF 50 plus. The other thing is the type of sunscreen you use. So there's lotions and invisible sprays. So the invisible spray may be an SPF 50 plus because these products are tested. But if you make the consistency into a spray, it has to be diluted. So you're not getting the same consistency or protection that you think you are.
Okay, very interesting. When it comes to skincare, you know yourself, you've got very expensive brands, you've got much cheaper brands. Is there a difference?
Yes, I think so. I think a lot of the ingredients look similar, but the pH and the delivery of the active ingredient into the skin is very different. I don't think you have to buy the most expensive brands, but I don't think the cheaper brands are particularly effective.
Okay. And when it comes to creating a skincare routine, do I have to use all the one brand or can I mix and match?
Of course you can mix and match, but I told you I have an awful lot of patients with really problematic skin and they're using a bit of this and a bit of that based on advice from Instagram or TikTok, and they're buying stuff on these websites like Temu, and sometimes the advice is not accurate. And again, I'd say if you're having problems with your skin, you know, real problems, it's time to see the doctor or dermatologist and get proper advice on proper skincare, and that will make a big difference to your skin.
Yeah, and I feel like, even I know with friends of mine, they tend to waste a lot of money buying products that they're influenced to buy, and they get them and they don't work, even though, like you said, it says it should work, it looks like it should work, but they just don't seem to deliver the results. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, just a few more questions just to give some education to the audience. How does diet impact skin health, and do certain foods promote clear skin, say, for example?
I don't think so. I don't think food is directly linked to having problematic skin. But if you eat junk food, if you eat these processed foods, you drink high sugary drinks, it's not good for you. And it probably stresses your body, which may fluctuate the hormones, which will cause oil and problematic skin. So a good diet makes sense, but I'm not sure is it directly related.
Directly related. Okay, perfect. When it comes to exfoliants, you have chemical and physical. Which, in your opinion, is better and more effective for people to use?
So a physical exfoliant, like a body scrub, I might choose if I was trying to prepare my skin for fake tan. Not on the face, I don't recommend that at all, but just say on the body. Chemical exfoliants are different. Chemical exfoliants are a chemical reaction to loosen the skin cells and brighten the skin. So I would have said chemical exfoliants probably give more bang for their buck.
Okay, very good. As someone who sits in front of patients every day of the week looking at different skin concerns, what are some of the common mistakes you see typically younger people making when they're starting out in their skincare journey?
So loads of different skin products with no consistency. They're chopping and changing from one thing to the other. Use of things like hyaluronic acid serum or retinol in young children, I think that's very dangerous. We would have a lot of patients coming over from the USA where you can buy topical tretinoin or Retin-A or benzoyl peroxide over the counter, and that can really, really damage the skin of younger children with acne. You can see visible broken veins that won't go away. You have to be consistent with skincare. You need to get the right advice at the beginning and be consistent, because what we notice, especially with acne or acne rosacea, where there's very severe redness or aging or wrinkles, the longer the patients use a proper skincare routine, the better the skin looks.
Okay. And if you have somebody who's looking to kind of start in their skincare journey, but money is a bit of an object, how would you recommend somebody build a skincare routine, but somewhat cost friendly?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need to be clever enough. But if we're talking about the teenage market who don't have a lot of money and they need a top quality salicylic acid foaming cleanser or glycolic acid foaming cleanser, it only costs €30. And the cleanser lasts for sometimes 4 to 6 months. So it's not outrageous, but sometimes that probably is what you're going to have to spend. If you can find a fantastic cleanser for €6, go for it. But I don't think you can. With products like vitamin C, you definitely have to buy the more expensive brands. It makes a big difference. I've seen people, men particularly, swear they're using a vitamin C serum. And on comparison photos 6 weeks apart, there's no difference in their skin. So they're either telling lies or they're using a brand that's simply not effective. But vitamin C serum probably only needs to be used in the late 20s, 30s, because at that age, your skin's natural immune system is starting to fail. So you have to up your skincare and start using antioxidants. So teenagers don't usually need those products. And really late 20s, 30s, you may be able to afford 50 or 60 euros for a vitamin C. But a cleanser and a basic moisturizer, you don't have to buy the most expensive brand, but you do need to get the good products because, as you said, you can waste a huge amount of money using the wrong things and it actually destroys your skin. Then you have to pay the doctor or someone like me, and I have to reverse the skincare, and it may end up being a lot more expensive in the long run.
Okay, so invest at the start to prevent long-term investment in the end.
I think so. And if we start in a good routine and you're preventing the acne, preventing the redness, you're using the sun protection, you probably have a lot less skin problems as you get older than you think.
Future. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, a quick true or false round just to throw some questions at you. We spoke about this already, but you can shrink your pores permanently. True or false?
It's false. You can shrink them very well, but there will be an ongoing maintenance.
Okay, perfect. Higher SPF means higher protection.
No, that's not true.
Okay. Natural products are always safer.
No, I suppose back to what I said, we have patients coming in with irreversible dyspigmentation, and these are products that are sometimes bought in the supermarkets and over the counters in countries like India and Africa that can be extremely dangerous. We also have some people coming in with products like apple cider vinegar, potassium hydroxide, and they can cause quite bad burns. So always with products, just be very careful, or maybe do a very small patch test in an area that doesn't matter before you proceed to use these products.
Okay, perfect. And last, true or false, drinking more water can fix dry skin.
I don't think so.
It's false. Okay. And finally, just your product choices. I'm going to give you option A, option B, and you personally, what do you like for yourself? So a physical or a chemical exfoliant?
Chemical.
Your best ingredient for treating acne?
Salicylic acid.
A go-to product for oily skin?
Salicylic.
Again, salicylic acid. And essentials for dry skin?
Vitamin B5 gel, intensive moisturizer, sunscreen.
Okay, brilliant. If people are listening to this and they decide to invest in good skincare, how long should they start seeing results in?
You should see a result really quickly, within a couple of weeks. When patients come in to see me, a lot of them, we have a lot of skin cancer patients, we have a lot of acne patients, so we do comparison photos. The longer they use the correct skincare routine, if they listen, the results are actually incredible, and they're on photographs. So it's comparison photo. So I would have said you should notice a difference really quite quickly, but you must maintain it. Consistency is the key, and not chopping and changing, not adding in inappropriate products. Use a skin product that's simple but effective and stick with it.
If somebody has an exfoliant as part of their, just say, new skincare routine, they just have normal skin, how often should they be using it?
It depends on the condition. So something, just say with non-problem skin, a daily glycolic acid foaming cleanser is a really good workhorse. for the oily skin, open pores, pigmentation, fine lines and wrinkles. So that will be my top recommendation for everyday use.
For that. And then finally, the important step at nighttime after cleansing. So what would you recommend at nighttime to use after you do your cleanse?
So for somebody who isn't pregnant or breastfeeding, who's looking for anti-aging, retinol 1% is a fantastic product. But just for younger children or teenagers with nothing wrong with their skin after cleansing, I would also use a moisturizer.
Just a moisturizer. Okay, well, that is everything for today. I hope you've learned a lot, as have I, from Dr. Naomi Mackle. So thank you so much for answering all them questions today. We'll be back with another podcast next week. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.